The one who leaves a legacy of love to generations that follow has lived a life worth remembering. The one who leaves footprints on our hearts has left a story worth telling. And the one who leaves happy memories dancing in our thoughts has given the gift of timeless moments worth holding in our hearts forever. I speak of Sharon Marie Woodhouse. A warm welcome to you all as we come together on this day to celebrate, to say goodbye and honour Sharon's 60 years of life. To those of you who are joining us by live stream, a welcome is also extended to you. You are very much part of our gathering in the chapel today. My name is Delma Carpenter, and along with Jesse and his colleagues from Parkside Funerals, we feel very privileged to have been asked to conduct this service for you. And please, if you haven't done so already, now is a really good time for you to turn your mobile phones onto silent. No matter when, there is never a right time to say goodbye to someone that you knew and that you loved. Regardless of their health, they play such a pivotal role in our lives. And when the time comes and we're faced and called on to face this part of life's journey, it can be challenging. Grief is one of the few things that has the power to silence us. For Sharon's family, the pain of losing Sharon and her mother Elaine, two separate losses, so close together, can be intense. The experience of suffering a second loss before you've grieved the initial loss is what is called a compound grief. We call it too hard. To lose both a mother, a grandmother, a sister, auntie, close friend in a short time is gut-wrenching. Understandably, your emotions will be mixed. Feelings of sadness, numbness and sorrow. And the most difficult thing is willing yourself to move forward. Don't be afraid to shed tears and express your emotions. It is going to take time to adjust to such a huge loss. Your support and caring presence are important to help the family cope with the pain that they are going through. Hopefully one day in the future you'll look back with wonder, not grief, and remember how lucky you were to have known their love. Helen Keller said, "The most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt within your heart." May we now take comfort in Psalm 121, a prayer chosen by Sharon's mum, Elaine, before her passing. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now, forevermore. So let's now take a look at Sharon's life. It was on the 30th of October 1961 in Burnie that Elaine and Robert Green experienced the joy and excitement of welcoming their second daughter, Sharon Marie, into the world. Sharon was the middle child and the youngest sister to Deborah, and later becoming the oldest sister to Annette. Somerset was home for the family until 1977. Sharon then spent a short amount of time living in Montello with her nan and pop, her mum and Annette. A move to Shorewell Park followed, and after Sharon completed her Year 12 studies after attending both Burnie High and Helier College, she was hired into her first full-time job at Farmers Limited in Burnie. Sharon met Peter Woodhouse and they moved into their own house around the corner from Elaine and Annette, and went on to marry in 1982. Melbourne later became their home for the couple when they moved from Tassie to live in a small bungalow in Ringlewood, and then Kinter Court in Croydon North. Their family of two grew in 1983 when Sharon and Peter became parents to their daughter Emmy, and in 1986 their son Matthew was born. After spending a number of years as a stay-at-home mum, Sharon became involved with her local church and began working as a volunteer with teenagers within the church youth group. She was also the provider of pastoral care services within the local community. Sharon's involvement with the local church presented many opportunities for her over the years, and it was evident back then that she really enjoyed working in a caring role with people. Years later, Sharon spent some time working in the hospitality industry, and later she did cleaning work. Emmy and Matthew recall Sharon as a loving, giving and very caring mum who ensured they were brought up to have good values. Her approach to parenting was a little unique, always fair but firm, wanting them to know right from wrong. But to have Sharon as your mum meant that she would give you the freedom to learn through your mistakes and also give you the freedom to make your own decisions, all while encouraging her kids to go and enjoy life. Over the years, Sharon took a big interest in Matt's music, and she was never prouder than when watching her kids play their musical instruments. Sharon's determination and love of life shone through incredibly brightly when she was diagnosed with and subsequently survived breast cancer. In 2008, it felt like the right time for Sharon to move back home to Tasmania. She lived with her mum Elaine for some time and then purchased her unit in Wynyard, which, after quite a few moves throughout her life, became her final home. This move back to Tassie saw her career take a new direction too, as she completed further studies, training to be a carer, and then went on to work in aged care at Yamina Park Home for the Aged, until she retired in mid-2022. Caring for people was something that Sharon absolutely loved and was one of her greatest accomplishments in life. All who knew her at work observed a hard-working, loyal and dedicated carer who took great pride in her work and felt such a deep sense of reward when helping others. It was a career that Sharon gave her all, no doubt including her tendency for a bit of mischief, being cheeky, joking around and a quick wit. All of the qualities that are so valuable to both colleagues and the residents in an aged care environment, combined with her bright nature and willingness to give her time to anyone in need. Returning to Tassie to live also gave Sharon the opportunity to spend time at her favourite place, and that was the beach, walking along the boardwalk at Burnie or at the Somerset Beach, where she swam all year round. She found great strength in the beauty of the ocean, and it became a place of both comfort and restoration for her over the years. Sharon was immensely proud being Nana Taz to her two grandchildren, Jackson and Madison. Every achievement they made was celebrated, and she would laugh when they gave their mum Em any attitude or sass. Throughout her life, Sharon, although quiet until she got to know you, loved being around people, and she particularly enjoyed family movie nights. In her quiet time, she was an avid reader of books, and she was never happier than when she was in the kitchen cooking. Spending time at home provided her with the opportunity to be surrounded with her antique collection that she proudly displayed. Adding to this collection was a huge passion for Sharon, and her somewhat quirky taste was reflected in the pieces she adopted to call her own. Music soothed her soul, and she enjoyed listening to a wide genre. Both opera-based artists were always her favourite. A giving, bright and caring woman, Sharon was always incredibly passionate about her life and loyal to everyone she knew and loved. She will certainly be missed. I'd now like to invite Matt and Em to come up, and they're going to share some memories of their mum with us.
I wrote a book, fairly substantial. It's not, it's my diary because I didn't have any paper. Oh, hang on, he's going first.
I did not write a book, but it feels like it still. I just want to thank everyone for making the time to turn up today. My mum, the incredibly loving, warm, generous, funny woman, always there at any given moment for support and to lean on no matter what I was experiencing. Our relationship was one of laughter, love, also challenges, as we had the same hard-headedness about us. My mum was my biggest supporter, giving anything of herself without a second thought. She was dedicated yet stubborn, quick-witted, had a sharp sense of humour, but a bright, quirky personality, like keeping a life-size mannequin rabbit in a living room, which is now a quiet running joke within our family. My mum always pushed me to live my life and empowered me to do it my way. She told me to do anything and everything, make my mistakes, get in fights, get arrested.
Did she?
Just don't get anyone pregnant. She wanted me to do everything. My crazy endeavours of trail running and my love of the sport of boxing had her full support from day one. She always told me to swim in the ocean all year round, just like she did. And if I didn't, she called me a chicken. We connected over music, and she was immensely proud of my drumming. When she used to come and see me play live, I'd look over from behind the drums and could always spot her standing in the middle of a mosh pit surrounded by sweaty, large males, stage diving all over each other, and I could always spot her in the middle of it, this massive, giant Cheshire cat-like smile. My last, most precious memory of my mum was sitting bedside with her. She was all in white, propped up, still smiling at me, same Cheshire cat grin. Holding hands, looking at each other while chatting through everything from both of our lives. As friends, reflecting on life. We said we were proud of each other, that we were still there for each other. It felt like I was now playing a support role for her, paying back a lifetime of it being the other way around. I feel very fortunate that I had this time together with her. The words and moments that we shared that afternoon in her home has provided a beautiful sense of purpose, love and closure. Now, every day forward without her is going to be different. But her voice and the memories I have are always there. I will always miss her dearly. But I know that she is still looking out for me every day, just as she always did.
Oh, dear God, I should have gone first, right? Oh. Mine's a little different. Finding the right words to describe my relationship over the years with my mum is almost impossible. So I'm going to save those reflections for down the track when I am ready and have some time to process that mum is no longer here. I will share that moment with those that loved mum, Maddie and I, and who have wrapped us up in unconditional love and support in the last couple of weeks. To those people, we love you and are grateful for all that you have done for mum and for us and all that you will continue to do in future. Our mum was a complex person, but I think these memories sum up who she was beautifully. Whether it was playing Scrabble with residents at a local nursing home, volunteering as a youth leader for her church, or baking for the church fete, my childhood is full of memories of Mum helping in her community. Mum's chopped bowl salads and soups provided comfort to so many. That bizarre marshmallow yoghurt dessert thing was so weird, yet oddly a crowd favourite. She never let Nan forget about the great golden syrup dumpling disaster of the 90s. Mum constantly demonstrated her courage, determination, her willingness to try hard things, like selling a house, buying a car on her own, buying her unit on her own, navigating breast cancer, and ultimately beating it. There were also some hard things that she had a go at that didn't quite go to plan. Like the time she agreed that Dad could get us 125cc motorbikes for Christmas, and then she rode one straight into the neighbour's fence. I wish I'd been here when Mum passed, so Maddie didn't have to carry quite so much on his own. But I know Mum would be proud of him and how we're honouring her here today. I'm not sure if Mum would be a tiny bit relieved that I was so far away, because it meant that I didn't have a chance to find the photo of her wearing Maddie's clothes with glitter paint on her face that she rocked at the church underage disco. Mum's punk phase was equal parts mildly embarrassing, yet very entertaining. Mum taught us to try new things and follow our dreams. She celebrated our highs and she offered support during our lows. She wouldn't hesitate to tell us what she was thinking, and she loved and lost fiercely. Mum had a wicked sense of humour and didn't take herself too seriously, choosing to laugh and find humour in whatever she wanted. I wish she hadn't been quite so stubborn, but it's part of what made Mum Mum. When she set her mind to something, there was no changing it, and she stayed true to that until the end. So Mum, thank you for the memories. They helped shape who I am today. I promise to take the good parts of us forward into my relationships, how I raise your grandchildren, and how I navigate life. I promise to learn from the rest and to keep your memory alive. I hope you know how loved you were. Your fight is over. Rest well with Nan now.
Thank you, Matt and Em. I'd now like to invite Sharon's two sisters forward, Annette and Deborah, and they're going to share more memories with us.
Cleo's going to come up.
Oh, Claire's, okay, that's fine, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Cleo, eldest, only daughter of Deb, and she's asked me to read this out on her behalf today. A tribute to my sister in heaven. Our time together was special, so were the memories we made. And although you live in heaven now, those memories will never fade. I bow my head in silence and remember my sister with love, and I know that you are up there watching from above. Every day is a struggle and nothing feels the same, and my heart breaks a little more every time I hear your name. You will always be remembered, and time may heal my heart, but a piece of me is missing since the day we had to part. If heaven is for angels, then I know that's where you'll be, and I know you will be waiting when heaven calls for me.
Okay. Sharon,
or Shan as we called her. Sharon and I were 2 years apart in age. She watched over me as a big sister and we grew up together, playing, bonded and giggling our way through life as little girls do when you share your lives together. As teenagers we were inseparable, sharing lots of firsts together. First crush, first boyfriend, first dances out together, our first cigarette, first time driving each other and sometimes driving each other mad. We shared our love of music, clothes, makeup and our hopes and dreams. As young women we shared the great love of our lives, which was our children. Our firstborn children, Emmy and James, and then our second-born children, Matthew and Jessica. Sharon's were the first hands to touch my daughter Jessica when she was born, and I remember my sister placing my baby in my arms. No matter where we lived, we were always best friends, and our bond as sisters never wavered. We were there for each other in our most happiest and joyous times, as well as our dark and despairing times. As mature women, we shared new interests and passions together, enjoying our best lives. We also began to resemble each other a little more as we got older, often being asked if we were twins. We then shared the newest great loves in our lives, and that was our grandchildren. Our firstborn grandchildren, Jackson and Callie, and our second-born grandchildren, Madison and Lincoln. Lincoln's 10 weeks old. My sister had the biggest heart, cared for and touched many lives. She was generous to those she loved, and above all, she was so very, very courageous in her later years. We didn't get the retirement years that we planned for, Shan, but I know you're resting peacefully with the Lord and in the arms of our beloved mother. Until we meet again, my loving sister, your little Wavina. Thank you.
Thank you, girls. Nephew James and niece Jessica, they were going to share with us as well.
Sharon, my beautiful auntie. We shared many great memories together which will be with me forever. In school holidays when we were younger, we always looked forward to going to Melbourne to visit Sharon. Whether we were watching wrestling, spending the day in the pool, listening to music, it was always one of the fun things we looked forward to. She even made shopping fun. One of my favourite childhood memories was the toy boat racing in the pool where the main goal was to beat Nan's boat at all costs. I was excited when I heard that Sharon was moving to Tasmania in 2008, and as luck would have it, we ended up studying at the same TAFE together. No matter how cool my teenage self thought he was, I would always sit down in a cafe and have lunch with Sharon. Sometimes my mates would too, and they always loved James's cool Aunt Sharon. After TAFE, we'd always be off somewhere, be it Somerset Beach, the music stores, or even just KFC. She loved watching me sit in the music stores, playing all the fancy guitars that I couldn't afford, until one day I could. Auntie was so excited and proud, taking me to Devonport to buy the beautiful Ibanez guitar I still treasure today. After finishing school, I found myself living with Nan and Sharon for a while. This would go on to be one of the best times of my life. Auntie and I would continue our swims at the Somerset Beach and have arguably way too many Mr. Bean marathons. A lot of evenings she would help me with job applications for the next day, and a lot of nights afterwards we'd find ourselves just sitting at the kitchen table for hours talking until late. Sharon loved dogs. After I moved back in with my mum, we decided to get a dog, and Sharon quickly volunteered to come with us and choose. After meeting the first dog, Jack, while Mum was off walking others, Sharon and I had both decided he was the one. She always loved Jack, and even recently, since mine and my partner Tegan's move interstate, she always wanted photos of him and our other two. Take a breath. Once we moved interstate, Sharon would call me all the time to check in, sometimes even multiple times a day, always wanting photos and updates. She was so happy for us and our new life. I'm very lucky to have had such an amazing relationship with my Aunt Sharon. She was always there for me through thick and thin, and we never fought or argued. A lot of the time, I felt like she understood me when no one else did. I'm extremely grateful and proud that I had Sharon in my life, and I'll always love her so very much. Yeah.
My auntie Sharon was in the delivery room when I was born. She was quite literally there from the start. From that day on, we held a special bond. We always stood up for each other's feelings. It was our unwritten rule as auntie and niece. Growing up, my brother and I couldn't have asked for a better auntie because Sharon was auntie goals. She had everything going for her. She was beautiful, fit, motivated and upbeat. She was the fun one, the adventurous one and the cheeky one. It's undeniable that Sharon suffered huge hurdles in her life. She survived cancer in her younger years, which is not your average struggle. But no matter what she suffered with, she still had so much love to give. She would help anyone, a friend, a family member or a stranger. My auntie was a huge Disney fan, one of her most recent favourites being the movie Brave. I'll say my final goodbye to my auntie by reading the lyrics from Touch the Sky in the movie Brave. When the cold wind is calling and the sky is clear and bright, misty mountains sing and beckon, lead me into the light. I will ride, I will fly, spread my wings and touch the sky. I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky.
Beautiful memories of a special person in your lives. We've been hearing about Sharon's life in words, so we're now going to see her life through photos with an audio-visual presentation.
You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail, and there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. I am yours. peace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you've never failed, and you won't start now. So I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. I am yours, you are mine. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. I'll take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me
There's no denying that photos certainly hold so many memories and stories. The family have chosen When I Must Leave, which is a poem by Helen Steiner Rice, and it's in your service book, and I'd like to read it for you, and you may like to follow along with me. When I must leave for a while, please don't grieve and shed wild tears and hug your sorrow to you through the years. But start, but bravely with gallant smile, and for my sake and in my name, live on and do all the things the same. Feed not your loneliness on empty days, but fill each waking hour in useful ways. Reach out your hand in comfort and in cheer, and I, in turn, will comfort you and hold you near. And never, never be afraid to die, for I am waiting for you beyond the sky. On behalf of Sharon's family, I offer their sincere gratitude for your presence here today, whether it be in person or by live stream, and for the love and the support that you have given them. Sharing your memories and stories of Sharon with others here today is equally as important as what we've just shared, and the family warmly invite you to join them here at Parkside for a cuppa, and this is where they would love to hear your stories and memories of Sharon. Let Sharon's life and dying guide your own lives with hope, passion, and a joy for living. Life is as precious as is our relationship to others. Take time to be fully present with each other and be gentle with yourself. Take time, the memories and the stories we have shared about Sharon will remain with you for all time. She has lived and touched you all in different ways. May you remember her for the good things that she did and for the times that you shared. We're deeply grateful and give thanks to Sharon's life, remembering her smile and her frown, her kindness and her caring, her honesty in speaking her mind, her passion and loyalty, her cheekiness and mischief, her fun-loving personality, and her love for her friends and her family. I'd now like to invite family and friends to come forward and say their own personal goodbye by placing a flower on Sharon's coffin. For those attending by live stream, I will place a flower on Sharon's coffin to collectively represent your personal farewell to her. Sadly, we've come to the part of the service where we have to say goodbye. It's now time for the committal. Please stand if you're able. As much as there is a sunrise, there must be a sunset, and the rejoicing over birth will one day become the tears of loss. This is a journey that we all must travel, and right now it's a journey that our dear Sharon must go on. Sharon, Marie Woodhouse, tenderly and reverently we give your body to the purifying elements and ultimately to the precious earth, from which all things come and to which all things in life return. We take comfort in knowing that Sharon goes to be with loved ones that have gone before her. A light went out on earth the day we said goodbye, and on that day a star was born, the brightest in the sky, reaching through the darkness with its rays of purest light, lighting up the heavens as it once lit up our life. With beams of love to heal the broken heart you left behind, where always in our memory your lovely star will shine. Sharon, may you go forward in the next part of your journey with great love and respect. We bid you farewell.